Cockpit lighting is provided by panel lights, control stand lights, fluorescent lights, dome lights, and specific function lights. The controls and indicators for the cockpit lights are located on the overhead panel, the center instrument panel, and the aft pedestal. The second officer's lighting controls and indicators are located on the lower panel and the P6 panel. Panel lighting consists of white lights, which provide general and specific area lighting for each control panel. Panel lighting is controlled by the left forward and side panel light switch, the center forward panel light switch, the forward panel background light switch, the overhead panel light switch, the right forward and side panel light switch, the radio panels and autopilot light switch, and the second officer's panel light switch. Illumination of the pedestal areas is provided by 2 white and 2 red floodlights located in the overhead panel. The control stand red light switch provides control of the 2 red control stand lights, and the control stand white light switch controls the 2 white control stand lights. Fluorescent lights provide high-intensity lighting for daylight or adverse visibility conditions. The forward panel fluorescent light switch controls the fluorescent lights under the glare shield, and the panel fluorescent light switch controls the lights under the second officer's overhead light shield. Dome lights provide general cockpit illumination. The dome white light switch controls 3 white dome lights located on the cockpit ceiling, and the dome red light switch controls 3 red dome lights on the cockpit ceiling. An additional control switch for the white dome lights is located next to the fuel dump panel. Specific function lights include map lights, the compass light, circuit breaker light panel lights, panel background lights, and the table lights. The map light switches control the spotlights located in each pilot's number 4 window. The compass light switch controls the light in the standby compass. The circuit breaker light switch controls panel lights for the P18 and floodlights for the P6 circuit breaker panels. The forward panel background light switch controls the incandescent floodlights located under the glare shield and is essential AC powered. The panel background light switch controls the incandescent floodlights in the second officer's overhead light shield. These lights are essential AC powered. The table light switch controls 2 floodlights in the second officer's overhead light shield for table area illumination. A removable cover allows the second officer to insert a red light cover. The light override switch provides a single means for bright or limited cockpit illumination. In normal, all lights are controlled by their respective switches. In all white, all fluorescent and white control stand lights illuminate at full intensity. In the flight-only position, all fluorescent white control stand and white dome lights are extinguished or prevented from illuminating. The master test and dim switch controls the intensity of the warning, caution, and information lights on various cockpit instrumentation panels. The dim position allows all indicator lights except the approach progress display, or APD, and the autopilot disengage lights to illuminate dim. This position allows the APD and autopilot disengage light intensity to be controlled through photoelectric sensors. The bright position allows indicator lights to illuminate bright. In this position, photoelectric control is bypassed. The test position illuminates all indicator lights with the exception of the APD lights, and the yaw damper flags retract if in view, or yaw damper lights illuminate if extinguished. In the flight-only position, all fluorescent white control stand and white dome lights are extinguished or prevented from illuminating. Cabin interior lighting consists of fluorescent ceiling lights, incandescent ceiling lights, fluorescent window lights, and specialized lights. The cabin lighting controls and indicators are located on the forward flight attendant panel, forward galley panel, aft galley panel, and the aft flight attendant panel. The ceiling light switch controls ceiling incandescent and fluorescent lights. In the night position, fluorescent lights are extinguished and approximately 1/4 of the incandescent lights are illuminated, resulting in a very dim cabin. In the dim position, all ceiling fluorescent lights are illuminated to a dim intensity. The bright position illuminates all ceiling fluorescent lights to bright intensity. If a partial power failure occurs, all incandescent lights illuminate. The window light switch controls the indirect fluorescent lights above the windows on both sides of the passenger cabin. Specialized lights include galley lights, attendants' work lights, forward and aft entry lights, and the air stair lights. The galley light switch controls the fluorescent lights above the respective galley work area. The dim position illuminates light to a dim intensity, and the bright position brings the respective fluorescent lights to full illumination. The attendant work light switch controls illumination of the light above the respective attendant workstation. The entry light switches control the incandescent and fluorescent lights above the respective entry door. The dim position illuminates the respective incandescent lights, and the bright position illuminates the respective fluorescent lights. The air stair light switch controls the air stair step lights and 2 overhead lights which are directed at the bottom step. The step and overhead lights illuminate when on is selected, or auto is selected with the air stairs locked down. Aircraft exterior lighting consists of landing lights, taxi lights, runway turnoff lights, navigation lights, beacon lights, wing illumination lights, cargo and service compartment lights, and wheel well lights. Exterior lighting controls and indicators for the captain and first officer are located on the overhead panel. Exterior controls and indicators for service lighting are located in the cargo and service compartment door areas, main wheel wells, and the right-hand forward fuselage on the external power panel. Cargo and service compartment lighting is provided by incandescent lights located in the ceiling of the various compartments. These lights are controlled by switches in the door area of the respective compartments. Each wheel well contains 2 incandescent lights. All wheel well lights are controlled by the wheel well light switch from the cockpit. Each main wheel well has a light switch which controls the respective light. The nose wheel well light switch on the external power panel controls the nose wheel well lights. The landing lights consist of 2 inboard landing lights and 2 outboard landing lights. The outboard landing lights are located in the number 1 and 6 Kruger flaps and shine forward and parallel to the fuselage when flaps are extended 5 degrees and beyond, or downward if the flaps are retracted. These lights are controlled by the outboard landing light switches. The inboard landing lights are located in the wing root and are positioned to shine forward and down. The lights are controlled by the inboard landing light switches. The taxi light is attached to the nose gear strut and is controlled by the taxi light switch. If the switch is left in the on position, the light remains illuminated after the gear is retracted. The runway turnoff lights are located adjacent to the inboard landing lights. The lights shine outward at a 30-degree angle and are controlled by the runway turnoff light switches. 2 fixed navigation lights are located on each wingtip. A white position light is mounted on the trailing edge of each wingtip. These lights are controlled by the fixed navigation switch. Each wingtip contains a red or green oscillating navigation light, controlled by the oscillating navigation light switch. These lights shine forward and rotate in phase. 2 red rotating beacon lights are mounted on the upper and lower fuselage. These lights are controlled by the beacon light switch. 2 wing illumination lights, located above each wing, illuminate the wing leading edge and upper wing. These lights are controlled by the wing light switch. Emergency lighting is provided for the cockpit, cabin, emergency exits, upper wing, and the escape slides. The captain's and first officer's emergency lighting controls are located on the overhead panel. The cabin emergency lighting controls are located on the aft attendant's panel. The cockpit emergency lighting consists of 2 emergency lights, or walnut lights, located under the pilot's glare shield, 3 white dome lights, a compass light, and a standby horizon light. The emergency lights are powered by the aircraft battery. If essential power fails, the glare shield emergency lights automatically illuminate. The dome and compass lights illuminate if selected. If power is lost to the fluorescent lights, all cabin ceiling incandescent lights are illuminated by essential power. There are 2 types of emergency exit lights: phosphorescent lights, located on the class divider, and electrically powered lights, located on the overhead ceiling panels and above each exit. Interior lights, located in the ceiling, point to escape slides, air stairs, and overwing exit routes. Exterior lights, located at entry doors, overwing exit service doors, and the air stairs, provide emergency illumination. The emergency exit, area, and escape path lights are powered through self-contained battery packs, charged by the aircraft electrical system. The cockpit emergency light switch controls emergency exit, area, and escape path lights. In the armed position, lights illuminate automatically if essential AC power is lost. Selecting On illuminates all emergency lights and stops the charging of battery packs. Selecting Off disarms the automatic circuit. However, the charging of the emergency light batteries continues. With the aft attendant panel emergency light switch in the normal position, the cockpit emergency light switch controls system operation. The On position illuminates the emergency lights, regardless of cockpit switch position. The unarmed light is illuminated when the emergency lights are not armed for automatic operation. With the no smoking switch on, all emergency exit lights except the cockpit and escape path are illuminated to a low intensity through a separate circuit. Portable emergency lights are located above the cockpit, forward entry, galley, and left-aft service doors. The emergency lights are powered by the aircraft battery. The dome, compass, and standby horizon lights illuminate if selected.